Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing? Man, Antonelli here.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How we doing? Matt Antonelli here. So today I want to talk about an MLB scouting report and what does that entail. I was on YouTube Live and we were talking and somebody said, when you're a hitter, what does a scouting report look like? Like, how does that happen? You show up to the park, you're facing a certain pitcher. Let's say you're facing Justin Verlander that day. What type of scouting goes into that? How do you get the information? What do they talk about? All those things. So let's talk here and go through basically a day. I'm going to let you know what it looked like when I was with the Padres at the major league level. How did it work? Now, I'm sure everything, well, I'm not sure, I am sure. I've talked to people at that level and I know that things have changed, right? Technology has really advanced and changed. There's just more data that is given to players. There's more data that's being collected than ever before. When I was playing at like the time when maybe there was just like a tiny bit of data in the game. I'm sure there was a lot more, but there wasn't really a lot being used. But that was before we have, all this stuff with spin rates, and we have, there's just a billion things. We'll talk about it in a second, okay? So just remember, when we're talking here, we're talking 2008 to 2010, okay? All right, so we'll go back to my major league debut, okay? Because I want to tell you how I kind of prepared for when I faced Greg Maddux that day. So get called up, fly into Los Angeles, playing against the Dodgers. Get to the stadium. When you get to your locker, right? So you're in the clubhouse, you get to your locker. There's always, at the beginning of a series, there's always going to be kind of a thing of paper that's just sitting there in your locker. Again, when I played, they probably don't use paper anymore. It's probably all iPads now, okay? I know it's a lot of iPad stuff. I don't know if they use paper, okay? We don't want to kill any more trees. There's paper on the locker. So you open it up, and it's going to say who's pitching that series, all right? It's going to have the bullpen and all their information as well. So I look at the paper. Here we go. We're facing Greg Maddux today. Now, I wish I kept these pieces of paper. These would have been cool things to keep at and look at right now. But we don't have it, so I'm just going to go off memory. So you open it up. Greg Maddux is throwing. It's going to tell you basically everything he throws, okay? So it's going to tell you the pitches that he throws and how hard he throws them. It's going to tell you what I was using was what pitches does he throw in certain counts. Now, here's where it differs a little bit for a couple of reasons. One, depending on how much time you have in the big leagues, it's going to be more useful to be able to scout those guys, right? So, like if I had faced Greg Maddux before, or if I had faced, let's say, the next game we faced Clayton Kershaw, okay? So if I had faced those guys before, well, then I can start to figure out how do these guys attack me, right? What do they do against me? If I don't have that, right, which I didn't because I hadn't faced these guys at all, how do these guys attack maybe right-handed hitters or maybe, in my case, right-handed hitters that hit 200? I'm just kidding. But maybe right-handed hitter. I'm not kidding. I did hit 200. No, I didn't. I'm kidding again. I hit 197 or 190-something. How do they attack right-handed hitters that maybe profile like me, okay? Now, in today's game, you can get all that information. You can find all that probably very, very easily. When I was playing, it was a little bit tougher. But all I'm going off of this sheet was basically, what does he throw? But that's kind of to anybody. So I don't know how useful it is. But it'll break down like in an 0-0 count, he's going to throw 68% two-seam fastballs. In a 0-2 count, he's going to throw, 39% two-seam fastballs. In a 0-2 count, he's going to throw, 48% changeup. And so it's going to break it down. All those numbers are going to be broken down, okay? And I do actually remember that it got me in trouble one time because usually I was always a guy that would sit. I always wanted to sit fastball. I felt like I was a pretty good fastball hitter. I didn't feel like I was a great off-speed hitter. Most of my life, my whole life, I sat fastball. If you threw me any off-speed pitch before 2 strikes, probably wasn't going to swing, unless for some reason I did it. It was almost like an old school moment where you just black out. Like there were a few times in my career where I'm sitting fastball and then all of a sudden, boom! I smash this ball and I get to second base or I hit a home run. Usually not a home run on off-speed pitches, but maybe I get to second base and I'm like, what just happened? I just hit a curveball and it wasn't 2 strikes. How the hell did I do that? Like that is what happened. I was never up there and been like sitting fastball and then, oh, here comes the curveball. I see curveball. I don't usually swing at this, but it looks so good. Boom, and I hit it. It usually was just a blackout moment, okay? But typically, again, I'm not that type of guy. So we're playing against the Brewers, and who was pitching? Jeff Suppan was pitching. I don't know if you guys remember Jeff Suppan, but he was like a fastball. I think he had like a 12-6 breaking ball. And I remember the scouting report said that Jeff Suppan in 3-2 counts threw a high percentage breaking ball, okay? It was a really high percentage breaking ball. And so I got the 3-2 against him, and I remember sitting there. I remember it's 2-2, and boom, ball 3. Now it's 3-2. I step out, and I immediately go to that stupid piece of paper, and I'm like, Jeff, you think you're going to sneak a little 3-2 breaking ball by me? Well, guess what? I got a piece of paper before this game, and it said that you like to throw breaking balls at 70-something% clip. And so I'm not a great math guy, but I'm an okay math guy, and I'm going to take my chances. I'm going to sit on a 3-2 breaking ball right here. And I was like, 3-2 breaking ball, here it comes. Fastball. Oh, strike 3. Fastball, you son of a, you tricky little guy, Jeff. And so I remember walking back to the dugout and being like, this stupid piece of paper, I'm going to burn that thing. I'm never going to look at it ever again. So that was one at-bat. Then again, I'd probably strike out my next at-bat. I was sitting on a fastball, so who really cares? Anyways, that's how the paper works, okay? And so that's the first thing. You start off with the paper. Now, in today's game, you're probably going to get an iPad. It's going to have like these nice charts that are going to show like red and blue squares. I'm sure you guys have seen it before, and it's going to show you where they're throwing each pitch. And I'm sure they're going to talk about spin rate. We didn't talk about spin rate back then. It's going to talk about a lot more stuff, all right? What I got to do is I'm going to get a hitter on here that plays in the major leagues. I don't know who I'll get, but I'll get somebody on here and it'll be interesting to see what are they getting now versus then, okay? So that's where it starts on a piece of paper. Now, from there, if you're playing at home, you've got like a computer room. Like when I was with the Padres, we had a computer room. Let's not get crazy. It might be bigger now, but back then it was just maybe a couple of computers in this little room right before you go onto the field. If you're on the road, they have like a little laptop that they bring. I remember only bringing one. I'm sure they bring tons of iPads now. But so you'd have this little computer, and so I'd go and sit down on it, and you open it up, and Greg Maddux is going to be pulled up there, okay? And so I'm going to be able to watch Greg Maddux. Now, I can select different things. So I could select like, let's see what Greg throws on 0-0 counts. Or let's see what Greg throws on 0-2 counts. And you can on that go to right-handers or left-handers, or you can go to anything. You could go to just your at-bats. Again, I didn't have any at-bats, but you could do that. And so on the computer, you could go through and just kind of, there's like a little bunch of little boxes. You just kind of click the boxes that you want. You fill it in, whatever you want to look at. Boom, and you watch. All right? And so again, I did that on the hitters that I faced, but I don't even know what the hell I was really looking at. I almost, when I watch these guys, because again, I never faced them before, I had no history against them, and so, how are they going to attack me? I don't really know what they're going to do. Are they going to say, well, this guy's a rookie, so I'm going to attack him a little bit differently? Is they going to say, this guy can't really hit, so I'm going to attack him differently? Are they saying he hits in the 8-hole in front of the pitcher, so I'm going to attack him differently, right? There's a lot of variables that go into it. So when I watch these videos, all I kind of looked at was real quick, okay, what's the guy's release point, right? What's his tempo like, so I can kind of get into a rhythm of what, when I think I'm going to get started. What does his fastball do? Does it sink? Does it run? Does it cut? Does it seem to rise? Again, we had no spin rates, but does it seem like it's one of those, now we call it high spin rate, rising fastball that pitches at the top of the zone. But you're just getting a feel for where does he like to throw it. To righties. Does he like to come in? Does he like to go away? Is then early and late. What's he going to do late? Is he going to come in late? Is he going to go away late? What pitch does he like to try to get you out with? Is he going to throw, high fastballs? Is he going to throw sliders off the plate? Is he going to throw cutters in? Is he going to throw whatever? For Maddux, it would be, I guess, cutters away. But those are the type of things that I'm kind of looking at. So just kind of big picture things. I'm not really looking at, okay, on 1-2, or on 1-1, what's he going to do? Or, on 0-0, I guess I can, because, you're going to see what is a typical guy like to try to get ahead with, right? And so those are, I guess, the big picture things that you're gonna look at. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is as you start to, develop some tendencies and you play a little bit, then pitchers are going to start to pitch you differently than maybe they pitch other people, right? And so I knew with me, I was very patient hitter. If I played in the big leagues for a while, I was going to have to change this approach because I was super patient. I never swung 0-0. I very rarely swung 0-0, right? And so, what a lot of guys would do to me when they start to realize this is they would start to throw fastballs early to get ahead. So I would have had to have become more aggressive if I continued to play, okay? But those are the big things that I would look at. You watch the computer, and then you go play the game. And when you come in the next day, you're going to do the same exact things. You're going to look at your paper. You're going to see who's pitching. You're going to go through that list of things. You're going to go over to the computer. You're going to check out, all that stuff again. What's his release point? And I'm not going to go over it all again. But it does help you a little bit. It's the same stuff, though, at least for me. A lot of it was I was looking at the same stuff that I was going to look at when I went out and watched the pitcher throw warm-ups and when I watched the pitcher throw to other hitters, right? So when the game starts and I'm watching the next day, let's say Clayton Kershaw's on the mound, and I'm going to watch the other right-handed hitters on my team, and I'm going to just see, okay, how's this guy kind of attacking him, right? The only difference with the big leagues is you can do that earlier. You don't have to wait till the game. At every other level, in the minor leagues or college or whatever, usually you're going to get all your information out on the field. And the difference with big leagues is that you get the information before you get out on the field. And then you can confirm it out in the field. You can make adjustments out in the field. Maybe things change, right? The other team has a scouting report on you, and they're going to maybe attack you differently than what you watch in the video. So that's where the cat and mouse game comes into play, when you're going to make adjustments during the game. All right? But that's how it works. And and the other small thing, I should mention this from a positional player standpoint, is the defensive stuff. So in today's game, when it comes to scouting reports, you'll probably see a lot. They pull a little card out of their back pocket. A lot of guys do. I've seen some teams take it, they put it right in their hat. I've seen pitchers take their hat off and look at it. But for defense, I was told where to play defensively. Now they pull out that card and it says okay, when Mike Trout is up, I'm going to play pull. Depending on your position, whatever. I'm going to play pull, I'm going to play oppo, we're going to play a shift, we're going to play this certain type of shift. When I played, there were no real shifts. I don't remember ever shifting really once. A shift in my day in 2008, a shift was just I'm going to move over 10 feet. It was never go to the other side of the bag or go wait. I lied. I lied, guys. I did shift once. Prince Fielder. When Prince Fielder was up, he was the one guy I remember. When Prince Fielder was up, I was told to go in the outfield grass as deep as I could while still being able to make the throw to first base. And I remember, I think it was Prince that hit me a ball way back there. I remember fielding it, holy hell, I'm 200 feet away from first base right now. This is the furthest I've ever been since I played shortstop in high school. So, but what you're told, instead of a little card, we were just told before the game, had it on a piece of paper, this is where you're going to play everybody, okay? So when Prince comes up, I'm going to go deep pull. I'm going to go back into the grass. When Ryan Braun's up, I'm going to shade him pull side. When, I don't know why I'm doing Brewers, but when Ricky Weeks is up, I'm going to play straight up. I'm just thinking of some of the guys I played against when I was with them. And so you know where to play with everybody, right? But we didn't have a cutout. I just had to remember. And it's not that hard. You just look at the guys. And a lot of guys, a lot of the guys that I played against, I'd watched on TV for a long time. When I'm playing the Dodgers, right? I've seen, we played Manny Ramirez. We played Matt Kemp. We played, who else? Angel Baroa. Nomar Garcia-Parra. All the guys on their team, basically. Andre Ethier. I played all those. I watched all those guys on TV. So when, I look at my list and it's my chart and it says, play Manny Ramirez, pull or whatever, that sticks in my mind immediately because I've seen this guy a million times and I'll remember that forever. If it was a rookie guy or a young guy that I didn't really know, I'd give an extra look because I'd be I don't know this guy, and so it's not going to pop into my head as easily. So let me really remember, okay, they want me to play this guy to, shade him oppo or whatever. So, but I never had there was never a time in a game where I was oh, shoot, this guy's coming up. Where the hell am I supposed to play? I don't remember. Coach, where do I go? Mr. Coach, where do I play this guy? That never happened to me when I was playing. So anyways, that's how it works. We could go into a bunch of other things, but just to give you guys a little insight, hopefully that answers your questions. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, give it a thumbs up, all that good stuff. We'll talk to you later.